of Raw. What a fantastic episode this was. I really enjoyed this episode. We are seeing Raw actually showing a level of consistency that is very much appreciated. And that was shown right at the beginning with a real hot start. We actually had all the masked men kind of coming through the crowd, right? Jumping through the crowds. And we didn't do the jumble thing that looked a little bit cringe last week. Actually, this time, Seth just got in the ring, took off his mask, started talking. He said, I created the vision, and I am going to be the one that destroys it. As he was talking, our attention turned to the entranceway. Out came Heyman. Look at this. I remember before, actually, I can't remember when it occurred, but I remember Heyman talking about how he would not sleep and he would look disheveled. He would try and cut out on shaving, cut out on sleeping. I think it was something to do with him and Roman, maybe when Roman turned on him back in the day. And so I feel like the same thing has gone on here. I could believe that Heyman has kind of in recent days cut down on the amount of sleep that he's been getting so that he looks as awful as he looked here, right? You can see that he's not been shaving as well. Those are the kind of lengths genuinely that Paul Heyman will go, right, for this kind of a thing. So, look at this, still selling the effects of that curb stomp from a few weeks ago. Absolutely fantastic. Gotta give Heyman praise. And I've got a lot of praise for Heyman on this episode, actually. There is a lot to praise Heyman about. Not just the fact that he looks so disheveled. Some people might think that was just makeup, but not always the case. And it launched into this as well. F-A-F-O F-A F5. Up goes the 5. Really, really good. Out comes Brock Lesnar. I mean, what an open this was. Seth through the crowd, cutting a promo. Heyman coming out looking absolutely awful, battered. Then he brings out the beast. Brock Lesnar making his way down. So really at this point, my mind's going, oh. So the fans wanted Oba, but it looks like we're going to do Seth and Brock. Brock coming down, just murking all of those masked men. Seth didn't look bothered. He just stayed in the ring, had plenty of option to run away. I'm not sure about this bit, though, right? I like it, love it, not down on that. But when I say I'm not sure, was it that Oba just came out of his own accord? Or did Seth have a plan? Was Seth in on this? Because Seth wasn't phased as Brock made his way down. He didn't even really look too surprised. And he just sort of stood there. And I can't tell if he knew that Oba was about to come down or if it was the case that Oba just, wanted Brock and just happened to make a bit of a save. Don't know. That's the bit I'm not sure about. Either way, Oba comes out next. Oba's music hits Slam X that I almost jumped out my seat. He makes his way down to the ring. And look, Kofi. Here's Kofi. Oh, shiz. Avenge us! Avenge us! You might remember Kofi was WWE champion, and you might remember that he lost that championship in 7 seconds to Brock Lesnar, right? So I think even Kofi was watching this play out, getting very excited, right? So down came Oba. Oba then picking up the beast, slamming him down, putting his foot on the chest, and here we go. Oba Femi, Brock Lesnar. It's the match the fans have been chanting for. It's the match the fans wanted. What an open. This is nearly a 10 out of 10 type open. You're getting this, then that's happening. Now this is happening. Now that's happening. And oh my God, so good. So good. So yes, we found out later in the show, Oba Brock is official for WrestleMania. Weird though, because obviously this did not go the way we expected. We were expecting an open challenge where Brock would be in the ring and someone would come out. And obviously the way that we've got to this is very different to that. So it's great though, not down on it. Okay, then we went to our first match. This was Americano against Americano. You lot scored this good 95. We don't need to spend long on this. You can see Chad Americano stepping up to Ryo, who's ready yeah, to throw down. And Bravo, who's ready to do something else, I think. I think he's ready to do a little bit of ballroom, a little bit of salsa. It's a good image there from Slamex. Match would continue. Basically, Ryo, I think it was, put a metal plate in the mask of Ludwig. That meant that Chad would do a flying headbutt. He would obviously hit that metal plate, knock himself out, would end up losing the match. So, yeah, not loads to this, but we did get Americano against Americano one-on-one, but certainly didn't feel like this was the end of that feud. Good 95 is what you lot scored it. Then we saw the OTC arrive, looking right down the camera, even holding the camera as he delivered his message. He said to his family that they should be offended by what CM Punk said about his father. And at WrestleMania, CM Punk is his. He seemed to imply, actually, like, do what you want. If you want to go after Punk after what he said, that's absolutely fine. But at WrestleMania that weekend, he's mine. So, yeah, it was good. Fiery, really good. Right, during commercial break, Danhausen came out, and I did enjoy this segment. He stayed in the entranceway. He had a T-shirt cannon, and it only fired one shirt. So he went over and unveiled this device, which was like shooting loads of T-shirts out. It was really good, right? And so he had a little bit of fun with that. He let the crowd know there's some new Danhausen shirts now available. We actually take a look at those in the latest Unseen, which is already on the channel, right? I am looking to get those out before the streams now. That means we can do breakdowns and maybe other videos after the streams. So that's already up on the channel. And he has got new shirts. He was firing these into the crowd. The segment ends with him running in the wrong direction. So he kind of tries to go to the back, kind of ends up kind of going down towards the crowd. And they kind of like that sort of awkward, or you weren't meant to see this kind of a thing. So another example of that. If you never saw the segment, then we do have a little clip of the bit where he gets a bit confused. So here I think the lights go out. He runs off. He goes down. Because the lights are out, I think he thought he had ran to the back, but actually he ended up running towards the crowd instead. And then had to scurry away. In the crowd, there was a Danhausen sign. Danhausen Hall of Fame 2026. He is so over. People are absolutely loving his work. Okay, this has been my plan since the day I joined Judgment Day. Liv with a perfectly fine promo. Promo was fine. There wasn't really too much to it. She was just saying, you know, I'm going to win the title at Mania. Dom's going to get his IC title back. It's actually pathetic how much you've dropped off, Finn. And it's kind of laughable to see where you are now. And this was my plan all along. That kind of stuff from Liv. The kind of stuff you would imagine, to be honest. Okay, the whole world can call me a part-timer as long as my wife and kid have got a full-time dad. So, again, just a Roman segment backstage. It was quite interesting. Roman just addressing those part-time claims, you know, and he is part-time. But he was saying, you know what it was like. Our dad's not being around. You know, I'm in a position where I don't have to do that to my family, and I won't do that to my family. And I think it's going to be really hard for people to sort of argue that. I think people know when it comes to families that putting your family first is a very honourable thing to do. And that's what Roman's doing. It's not that he's lazy. He wants to be a full-time dad. He doesn't want to treat his kids the way that he was treated by his father. I mean, his dad didn't have a choice. Had to earn money, right? And you do that by putting the work in. Same with Rikishi. The fact Rikishi wasn't always there for the Usos. Because, you know, you had to put the work in, make those house shows. I mean, back in the day, there were so many house shows. You know, we don't do hardly any house shows now. It was a very different time in the business. So, you know, Roman saying, I'm not going to put my kids through that. So, it was good. I really thought, though, in this segment, that the Usos were going to talk to Roman about getting an apology. Because you might remember last week, CM Punk planted that seed about did Roman ever apologize to you guys for the way he treated you? And of course he didn't, right? And it's all family stuff. It could be water under the bridge. It might be that the Usos don't need an apology. But it did feel like they were going to bring that up here, but they didn't actually. I wonder if that's something that gets mentioned in the future. Okay, next up, look at this. This is, I'm surprised this didn't close out the show, actually. Not replacing the promo, but just being the last match of the night, because it was for the Intercontinental Championship. It was a big, big deal. First AJ Lee match in 11 years on Raw. First time AJ Lee and Bayley will have met on the main roster. They did face off once in NXT, but not on the main roster, not on Raw or SmackDown or a PLE. I was excited for this one. I got to admit, I was excited for this one. So, match got underway. It was for the IC title. Of course, Bayley won that gauntlet match. There was a great moment where Bayley was on the outsides. She was using the commentary table to get back up. And Michael was talking about how Bayley needs to win this. This is her last chance. Bayley was like, I know, Michael. So a little moment between Bayley and Michael there, just adding to the drama, if you will, right? It was good. It was good. Bayley to belly, but AJ managing to kick out. This match was really fun. You lot scored it great. 55. So it did actually get a great rating. Some of you coming in with good, though. I mean, it was just on that line between like really high good or just low end great. Honestly, I got so much love for Bayley and AJ Lee. I was having a great time with this. Certainly, if you think this is AJ Lee's first match in 11 years, if you kind of take that into consideration, I think just clicking into that great rating is probably where I would be. Black Widow in, Bayley taps, and yeah, no Becky. I was shocked. I really thought there was a chance Becky was going to interfere. I thought there was a chance Bayley could win. I don't think AJ and Becky at Mania need the IC belt being involved. I think Bayley could have had it, gone in a different direction. It's not what we've done. It's not the direction we're going. That's fine. But yeah, AJ gets the win. Bayley was gutted. How does Bayley get to WrestleMania? Well, we would find that out. We would find that out later. During commercial break, AJ stayed out there and she was sort of talking to the fans. She even got this replica Divas Championship kind of posed with both belts, which was kind of fun. And she was kind of hanging around a bit. And I remember saying, like, feels like someone's going to jump her here. Kind of feels like someone's going to attack. This isn't normal. We don't normally see people just interacting with the crowd during the commercial breaks. We normally cut to a interview or something. So it did kind of feel like something was going to go down. We did get AJ and Bayley exchanging a hug, but then boom, Becky came out, started unloading on AJ Lee, and so it kind of felt like this is where it was going, or someone was going to attack her. Momentarily, my brain even wondered if Bayley was going to turn on her, right? It just felt like something was going down. Great moment, though, here. I love this moment. So Becky's going off on AJ. She then looks at a fan who's in the crowd, and the fan's like, whoa. It's just the kids. The kid's like, ah. And there's Becky. This little kid told Becky, I don't need any of that shiz right now. Listen, I'm not part of this. Yeah, I've never liked AJ Lee. Yeah, you do what you need to. You do you. You do you, right? I'm no bother to you whatsoever, right? So it was a great little moment, that great little moment. Not for AJ Lee, of course, but there we go. So yes, Becky did get involved, but it was after the match, which again, I'm really surprised about. I'm not down on that though, because I think one of the criticisms people have had for Raw and SmackDown is all that outside interference and the fact that people are coming down and screwy finishes and shenanigans. I mean, we just got the match we wanted, which was Bayley AJ Lee with a proper clean finish. Who wins? I mean, we've got to applaud the fact they gave us that when the option was always there to have Becky interrupt, save Bayley and AJ Lee for further down the road where there's no shenanigans. But no, they gave it us tonight. Big thumbs up from me. Dragon Lee then came out to accept Penta's open challenge. You lot really enjoyed this. This is, I think, the highest rated. It is the highest rated match of the night. It even beat the Roman Punk promo for score. You gave it great 74. It was good. It was really fun. I mean, of course it was. These two obviously fantastic in ring. Penta defeating Dragon Lee. So Penta picking up the victory. Okay, backstage. This is worthy of more praise for Paul Heyman, because WWE in real life have got a problem. And the problem is the vision are not the vision that we expected at this time of year. We thought we would have Braun. We thought we would have Bronson. We probably thought we would have Seth. I mean, if Seth hadn't got injured at the end of last year, he probably would still be in the group. So we were expecting this to be Seth, Braun, Bronson. Actually, it's Theory and Logan, right? We're in a very different place than what we thought. So as a result, it feels like we need to try and get these two to go maybe after the tag belts. I mean, maybe they can obviously do something with Seth at WrestleMania. But a lot of us have wondered, is it going to be Usos against Theory and Logan? That feels like a better fit, really, right? I don't know what it would mean for Seth at Mania. Obviously, that's a big question mark. But actually, these two going after the Usos, going after the tag titles, that sort of feels like it works. That sort of feels like the level that these two are at, right? And so Heyman has had to try and find a way of telling them, no, don't go after Seth. Go after the Usos. And that's hard. Why should they do that? What's the explanation for that? And I thought his explanation was very good. His explanation was, go after the Usos. Don't go after Seth. If you go after Seth, that's the worst thing you can do right now. Go after the Usos because they've got the tag titles. If you can get the tag titles, you get power. There is power when you are a champion, when you have gold. You have got more say, you have got more sway, you have got more leverage, you have got more power, right? If you hold championship gold. So this needs to be a game of chess, and we need to get those tag titles. Now, I don't know if they're going to get those tag titles, but at least he's explained it, in my opinion, quite well as to why they're not going after Seth. They're focusing their attention on those tag belts. And maybe they get them before WrestleMania. Maybe Seth gets a partner, and perhaps it's Seth and his partner against these two for those tag titles at WrestleMania. Maybe that's the direction that we're going. But either way, we're trying to send them in a direction that doesn't really feel like an obvious direction. I thought the explanation for it was very good. Then we went to what I think most people would regard as a bit of a low point. This scored good 75. So it's Maxxine against Nattie. I think that for me, this match was what we expected. It was pretty slow. There was a few little moments in there, but really we've seen a lot of what Maxxine can bring. You know, like she likes to do that kind of kip up. She likes to do the straps down moments. There's a leg drop to the back of the head that she does. You kind of know like the things that she's learned, and we've seen them, and it doesn't really get much in the way of a reaction now. I mean, what she doesn't necessarily have are those skills of building a match and getting near falls and selling the frustration. And do you know what I mean? Like the art of wrestling, right? The skills needed for putting on a banger match. Like I feel like Maxxine has got moves and a very basic understanding of facial expressions and selling. And I mean, let's be honest. She's an NXT talent. There are girls at the top of NXT that are of a higher level than where Maxxine is, right? We know that. I think probably Maxxine knows that. WWE, for whatever reason, still want to keep going with her on the main roster. And I think the one person that could probably get as good a match out of her as possible is Nattie, because we know they train a lot together. You lot scored this good 75. I will say, I didn't think it was a disaster, right, or anything like that. I do think it was a low point, slow. There are obviously, it's a match that doesn't need to be on this show. But I think at least she tapped out to the sharpshooter. At least it wasn't overly long. And at least we didn't give Maxxine the win. At least we had Nattie win clean with a sharpshooter when, I was fully prepared for Maxxine to beat Nattie. I was fully prepared for this Maxxine experiment to keep going. I don't know where we go with Maxxine. There was a very interesting development backstage, and we'll get to that because I've got no idea what that was about. But we would see Maxxine again later in this show. You lot scored that match good, 75, right? Then we got this, and this is a massive talking point. So we actually had Randy Orton on the phone. He said, of course she was watching on Friday, and I'll see you soon. So he was talking to someone. There was a few other bits that he said. He was on the phone to someone who he says understands him and understands why he did what he did to Cody Rhodes. So this conversation has really got people talking. He would then turn to the camera and go, hey, Cole, wrestling has more than one royal family. I want to shout out Sean. Sean Rousset was the first person on the watch-along that I saw who said, could it be his dad? He just said there, wrestling has more than one royal family. Well, yes, his father is a famous wrestler, Cowboy Bob Orton, right? So is it that he was on the phone to his dad and his dad is going to come into this feud? Because we know that Randy's father is a legend. We know that Cody's father is a legend. So could it be that we dig into something there? I believe Randy's father was around when Randy was doing legend killing and stuff like that. So, we have seen Randy with his father in WWE programming. So, yes, it could absolutely be that. There are a few other theories, though. I've heard Kevin Owens being mentioned. I was wondering about Triple H. I was wondering about The Rock. Here, people theorizing it could be Ric Flair on the phone, said Slamex. While I don't think that's the case, Charlotte Flair did reply to Randy Orton's profile picture today. Is she part of the royal family that he could be referring to? It's true, isn't it? Wrestling has more than one royal family. Another of those royal families is the Flairs. So, I don't know. It's very interesting. I don't quite know as to where this is going. My first thoughts was The Rock. My first thought was, Rock first. Then I wondered about Triple H. I don't know if Triple H quite fits because he says, of course you were watching. Well, we know Triple H would have been watching. But obviously they've got that evolution history. But then he's also got evolution history with Ric Flair. But it could also be his dad who has been with him before. So very interesting. I'm loving the Cody Randy story, and now we've got this extra element that's come in. It's just made it even more intriguing, in my opinion. Moving on, Danhausen thinks that the New Day are replacing Xavier. So he wanted to come in and join the New Day, right? So he was like, I could join, and he was doing the big E hip swivel, right? One bold move can change everything is, I don't know what that means. I don't know why he's wearing that. But anyway, Danhausen here trying to join up with New Day. Kofi was not having it. So, of course, the curse. Kofi moves Grayson in the way, and it's Grayson that gets cursed. I love how Grayson reacted. Takes the shirt off. He's like, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. He seems to be trying to reassure himself online, though, because Grayson said curses aren't real. So he seems to be trying to reassure himself. But I'm pretty sure that next time we see Grayson, probably next week in action or whatever, I think that curse is going to show itself. Then we moved on to our next match. This was our main event match. This was Raquel against Stephanie Vaquer. Liv on the outside saying, wah, 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 you are a loser to Stephanie. So she was obviously on the outside in Raquel's corner. Io would make her way down. Liv, of course, getting herself involved. Io would get murked, though. Io would go flying into that commentary table. The match would continue. Stephanie would get the victory, though. So I don't know quite what we're doing with Io. I mean, maybe we're going to do Stephanie and Io against Liv and Raquel next week. I mean, obviously, we've still got a month to go. So we do need some sort of story. So I'm guessing we're just, I don't know, maybe going to do a tag match or something like that. The rumors are Io is going to be moving towards Kairi and Asuka as we get towards WrestleMania. Anyway, Stephanie picks up the victory and moves forward. This is what we were referring to. What the flip? So Maxxine kind of slumped against a wall in the back. Austin Theory goes and checks on her. Austin Theory checks on Maxxine. What the hell is that about, right? I was joking during our watch-along. Do you think the vision that started out as Bronson, and Seth, and Heyman is about to reach its pinnacle by bringing Maxxine Dupri into the fold? What started out as Seth, Braun, and Bronson might now be Logan, Theory, and Maxxine Dupri. That can't be the direction, can it? What the hell is this? I mean, is this just going to be some sort of like love interest or what is this? Part of me might not hate it, actually, if we kind of stop Maxxine wrestling and instead make her sort of like a valet for Austin Theory. I might be able to vibe with that. Like, I actually might be okay with it, but I honestly, it kind of took me by such a surprise. I haven't really got my head around it all yet. But anyway, that was in the background. They obviously wanted you to see it, but in the foreground, we had Kabuki Warriors kind of letting us know they've got their eyes on the women's tag team championships. Asuka let Bayley and Lyra know that she still blamed them for her not getting her opportunity at that Intercontinental Championship. It seems like these two are going to go after those tag titles as well. So it seems like Bayley does have a direction for WrestleMania, and it seems like tag belts are going to be that direction, to probably no great surprise. Rhea Ripley said murder. Anything else is unacceptable. I think this was in reaction to Io getting murked. We know that Rhea and Io have got a really close friendship. So seeing Io getting murked, you could understand Rhea Ripley kind of responding to that. So that's how I interpreted that tweet. Okay, LA Knight questions why Roman is getting close to the Usos again. He said he doesn't want the old bloodline to re-emerge. So, interesting. There was a few little shades of the old bloodline, certainly when we were going backstage, doing some of those backstage segments. Usos taking on the Vision next week. So, there we go. Don't think this is for the belts, though. Didn't say it was a title match. Usos against Logan and Theory next week. We also got it made official. Oba against Brock. And I know what you're thinking. Right, goods. Finally, we've settled on a graphic style. This match, it only got made on this show. And so this is the very latest graphic. They're going with the post-apocalyptic style, right? Goods. It's official. Oba Brock at WrestleMania. And of course, I'm absolutely joking because moments later, they then released the sci-fi version of the match. So we still have absolutely no idea what the art style is for WrestleMania. It seems like no one does. We're all having mega lols. And there we go. We had the post-apocalyptic style. We've now also had the sci-fi style. A match made for the grandest stage of them all. The Beast versus the Ruler is official. for WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi. As Michael Cole said, holy... And he did. He did swear. He did swear. It's very unfortunate. What's not unfortunate is that Brock Lesnar is going to be around for the whole build. I mean, look at that. Back next week and the week after and the week after. And we have got a lot of Brock. So I don't know what they've got planned for Brock and Oba, but they've got 4 weeks. Maybe a promo exchange. Perhaps a pull apart with them trying to get at each other with the security. Don't know, 4 weeks to block out. Brock Lesnar's going to be here every week leading to WrestleMania. Very curious to see the build, says Slamex. So, there we go. That was all the matches and everything. There was just one more segment to go. One more segment to go, and that was OTC and CM Punk. So, Roman made his way out, got into the ring, asked for people to acknowledge him. He said, at the end of the day, I'm the beginning, I'm the middle, and you already know who closes. It's the OTC. Out came CM Punk. I love this bit. This might have been one of my favorite parts. He said, you keep calling me by my government name like it's supposed to be an insult. My friends and family call me Phil. I would call you Joe, but that would be insulting a real Samoan that I respect. Samoa Joe, of course. So that was great. That was really good. I like Roman's response, actually. He went, why don't you call your friend and ask him who his tribal chief is? So, you know, Roman kind of making it very clear, listen, you can know any Samoan you want. I'm the tribal chief of all of them. It was good. Maybe you should figure out what the top dollar players do. Why don't you ask your wife? Until you come up with something that can actually phase me, don't waste my time, Phil. So, obviously, a lot of repetition about the whole part-time thing, yeah? And then, of course, we got the big moment. So, this is when Roman just finished it off by basically calling CM Punk old. And Punk, rather than responding with anything, cracked Roman. Now, I don't know about that bit, to be honest, because I don't know that the old jibe is really the enough. I don't know that that's really the line that I would believe that CM Punk would lose it. You know, of all the things that Roman could have said, that's the line that he loses it on. I know there was some out there that were hoping or wondering if we were going to get the Larry line. I'm personally glad we didn't do that, because I don't think these promos should just constantly be, how deep can we go, you know? What's the lowest point we can get to? Let's talk about deceased fathers, deceased pets, you know, deceased grandparents or whatever. Like, I don't think we should be trying to, like, outdo each other in that regard. I'd like to think that we can come up with something wittier than that. I'm not sure this was it. Saying, I'm faster, I'm stronger. He also said, I'm better looking. He probably is. I don't know. But, yeah, this is when Punk didn't respond with words. He actually lashed out. WWE want you to know this is an issue. WWE want you to know this bothers CM Punk. WWE want you to know that, yes, Punk got in Roman's head, understandably, when they had that promo exchange 2 weeks ago. This week, the other way round. But, I mean, obviously it didn't land as well, because the line is not as, you know, it's not as shocking. But this felt more like a storyline promo, like we're doing this to further the story. That's kind of how this felt. Promo, you lot said, was great 57. You enjoyed it, but yeah, nowhere near the levels of a couple of weeks ago. Kind of a different graphic again. I mean, this is a sci-fi one, but this is the sci-fi one for Lesnar and Oba, right? And now we've got this sort of sci-fi one, which is different. Again, this one has, like, what looks to be sort of buildings. You can see skyscrapers in the background and, like, maybe a train. And, you know, it's given that sort of cityscape. This one is kind of sci-fi, but it's not got, like, a city in the background. So I think officially this is another different change. It's still sci-fi, same color scheme, but the background has changed again. I don't know what's going on. I mean, at this point, are they just trolling us? I genuinely don't know. This is the graphic that popped up at the end of the show. Here, Alfred said, it was an amazing Raw. It's the most excited I've been for WrestleMania. There were so many personal issues and very few matches just for the sake of matches on this card. I'm going to give this 7.25. I enjoyed it. I mean, I think the ending could have had a bit more bite, but I wouldn't have gone with the Larry line. I think that the Maxxine match is a bit of a low point. Americano was okay. It was just sort of there. That could have been stronger. I think maybe the Raquel Stephanie bit could have been a bit stronger as well. That just felt like we were spinning our wheels a little bit. There wasn't really much follow-up with the Finn thing. Finn was not on the show this week. That was a little shame, but it's okay to save some stuff. You know, we've got next week and the week after, so it's absolutely fine. I think the start was so good. And I really enjoyed Bayley, AJ. Penta Dragon Lee was really fun as well. Yeah, I'm probably about a 7 on this one, but knocking on the door to 7.25. So, hope you enjoyed it. Lots of bits in there. You know, who was Randy on the phone to? Why was Theory talking to Maxxine? Lots of little bits in there as well. So, good. Well worth a watch. Definitely a week where if people go, oh, missed the show, should I have watched it? Yes. There was plenty in there for you. Definitely felt like a Road to WrestleMania show, in my opinion. Certainly with that start. I'm just not sure anything quite could reach that level, though, unfortunately, after what was a fantastic start. So there we go. That was the breakdown. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us. As always, we'll be back later with our NXT watch along. If you want to know the community thoughts about this episode, I'll get them done right now on the second channel. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.